Chosen one, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the stillness between your heartbeats. That's where heaven has hidden its message for you today. You've been waiting, haven't you? Waiting for the promise that once set your soul on fire. Waiting for doors that never seemed to open, for prayers that echoed in silence. You've watched others walk into their breakthroughs while you remained in the hallway of delay, wondering if, maybe, you were forgotten. But listen closely, for the Spirit of God is whispering across the depths of your being right now. The delay was never a denial. The pause was not punishment. The waiting was not wasted. Every moment that felt like stillness was divine preparation, shaping you for the yes that heaven had already decreed before time began. You have been walking through a sacred in-between, the place where promise and patience collide. Many cannot endure it, but you were chosen to. And that's why this word is for you. God says, I have not forgotten what I spoke over your life. I have not changed my mind. What I promised you still stands. You see, delays are not denials when they come from the hand of the eternal. They are alignments, the rearranging of seasons, the quiet orchestration of unseen details, the divine pause that ensures your blessing meets you at the perfect time. If it had come too early, it might have crushed you. But now you've been forged by fire, refined through silence, and strengthened by storms. You are no longer waiting in weakness, you are standing in readiness. Today's word is not just comfort, it's confirmation. The very thing you thought was gone is alive. The very promise you buried under disappointment is being resurrected even now. Heaven is speaking and God's voice thunders through eternity. The promise delayed is not denied. I say yes. So listen closely, chosen one. Before this message ends, you will understand why the waiting took so long, what it was really doing inside you, and how everything is shifting now. The doors that seemed sealed will open. The dreams that felt lost will rise again. And you, the one who held on when others gave up, will see that God's yes has been written over your life all along. Because what you have been carrying is not ordinary. This waiting season was not random. It was authored by divine hands. Heaven was not silent. It was strategic. Every delay that unsettled your heart was a divine appointment in disguise. God was aligning the unseen layers of your destiny, threading together moments you could not yet perceive, weaving purpose through what felt like pause. There were angels stationed around your path, repositioning people, circumstances, and even timing itself to ensure that what's meant for you would arrive when you're ready, not when you're restless. And now, as you listen, the atmosphere itself begins to shift. Because this message is not from a person, it is from the one who spoke creation into being. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," is the voice declaring over you now, "Let there be fulfillment." Heaven has not lost your file. The promise written over your name has not expired. The vision that once burned within you is still alive in the archives of eternity, awaiting divine release. The author of your story has turned the page, and the words now written in heaven read: approved, appointed. Yes, it's easy to think God has changed his mind when time stretches longer than you hoped. It's easy to wonder if maybe you misheard him or if your faith was foolish. But understand, this delay is not deviation. When God makes a promise, time itself becomes his servant. He will stretch it, pause it, or fold it to fulfill his word exactly when all things converge for your good. The Father speaks. I am not bound by your calendar. I move in divine alignment, not human haste. What you call delay, I call development. What you call waiting, I call preparation. For I have been shaping you into the vessel that can hold what I have promised. Can you sense it? That subtle warmth in your spirit that is divine confirmation. This is not just motivation. It is a heavenly reminder that you are seen, known, and chosen for something far greater than your last season revealed. God has been preparing the table while you were learning patience. And now, as the new chapter opens, heaven leans close and whispers, "The yes you've been praying for is already echoing in eternity." You are standing in the threshold of divine timing, that sacred point where heaven's decree meets earth's readiness. Every unanswered prayer, every quiet night, every tear that fell in faith has been collected, recorded, and redeemed. You did not lose time. You were being synchronized with eternity's rhythm. And now the same God who watched you in silence is speaking with thunder. The promise delayed is not denied. I have said yes. And now the veil begins to lift. Heaven's decree is not distant. It is unfolding even as these words reach your ears. The time of hidden preparation is giving way to visible manifestation. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting around you, and the things that once resisted your progress are losing their hold. You may not see it yet, but a release has already been spoken in the heavenly realms. In the courts of God, your name has been called, and the decree has gone forth. It is time. Time for the promise to rise from dormancy. Time for the door that was shut to swing wide with divine force. Time for the silence that surrounded you to echo with yes. There are promises that have been sitting like sealed letters in heaven's archives, held not because you were unworthy, but because the appointed season had not yet come. And now the seals are breaking. The angels of delivery have been dispatched. The divine timeline that once seemed still is now accelerating. You will feel it as sudden momentum, an internal stirring, a surge of clarity, a sense that what was once complicated now flows easily. It will not be through striving, but through alignment. Doors that once required knocking will open by presence alone. Conversations that seemed delayed will find you unexpectedly. Resources that once felt out of reach will appear as though summoned by unseen hands. For the Lord says, "What I promised I will perform. What I spoke I will bring to pass." Though the vision tarried, it will not tarry any longer. You will see it with your own eyes, and you will know that I am the Lord who keeps covenant. This prophecy is not about chance. It is about divine orchestration. Everything that once opposed you has been used to prepare you. Every delay was an invisible classroom where faith was refined and strength was forged. You are not the same person who first received the promise. The old version of you could not have sustained the new blessing, but now you are ready. God's yes does not arrive with chaos. It arrives with confirmation. You will know it's divine when peace floods what used to be restless, when the opportunity fits without force, when favor greets you where effort once failed. You will recognize heaven's fingerprints by the ease that follows obedience. And there will be signs, subtle yet undeniable, marking the turning of your season. Some will feel the wind shift in their spirit. Others will notice patterns, repeating people reappearing, or sudden bursts of insight that seem too precise to be coincidence. These are not accidents. They are heaven's way of whispering, "It's unfolding now." You will stand at the intersection of divine timing and human readiness, and there, right there, the impossible will bow. Promises once lost will reappear in upgraded form. Connections that were severed for your protection will return for your promotion. Even the closed doors will testify that they were never rejections, but redirections to something higher. The heavens are roaring with affirmation. Creation itself bends toward you in cooperation, because when God says yes, nothing in existence can say no. Every opposition must yield. Every barrier must break. Every false voice that tried to convince you that it was over must fall silent. There is a sound now, a divine resonance echoing through your destiny. It is the sound of completion. The wait is ending. The word is moving. The promise delayed is awakening. So lift your head, for dawn has come. Your patience has become prophecy in motion. And as light breaks through the horizon of your faith, heaven whispers one final truth. It was never denied. It was divinely timed. The delay was never punishment. It was a sacred pause, a divine calibration of your soul with the rhythm of heaven. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer was sculpting your inner being into alignment with what was promised. Because God's yes isn't merely about receiving something, it's about becoming someone. In this world, we measure time by clocks and calendars. But heaven measures time by readiness. What you called waiting, God called becoming. What you thought was stillness was actually spiritual acceleration hidden beneath the surface. Like a seed buried beneath the earth, your purpose was not dormant. It was developing in secret, wrapped in soil and silence. The delay was your cocoon. And while it felt like confinement, it was actually transformation. God was not withholding your promise. He was upgrading your identity to match the magnitude of his gift. He would not allow what is sacred to arrive in a space not yet sanctified. You see, divine timing is not delay. It's alignment between your inner world and heaven's decree. If the blessing comes before you are ready, it can feel like a burden. But when you are refined, you no longer chase what's meant for you. It flows to you effortlessly, magnetized by divine design. And so, heaven slowed the pace. The doors didn't open because the room inside you was still under construction. You were learning patience, surrender, discernment. You were learning to hear God in silence, to trust him in mystery, to walk by faith and not by sight. And as you did, the very essence of your being began to synchronize with eternity. Think of the ocean. The waves don't rush to the shore. They move in rhythm with the moon. So too does your destiny move in rhythm with God's hand. And when the time comes, the tide will carry everything promised straight to your feet effortlessly, inevitably, and perfectly, on time. Delay is the language of divine preparation. Every unanswered prayer was an answer in disguise. Every closed door was heaven whispering, "Not yet, because I'm perfecting something in you." And that perfection wasn't about flawlessness, it was about faith. You were learning to trust beyond evidence, to believe beyond reason, to stand even when you could not see. In that sacred waiting, you discovered a hidden truth. The promise was never about possession, it was about transformation. You thought you were waiting for the promise, but the promise was waiting for you. You became stronger in stillness. You learned to pray from a deeper place. You found peace without progress, strength without applause, and clarity without confirmation. And that is what made you ready. Now, as heaven's yes begins to unfold, you will realize how every fragment of delay was purposeful. The friends who left were part of divine subtraction. The job that ended was divine redirection. The opportunities that slipped away were sacred protections. For if any of those had stayed, they would have intercepted your alignment with God's greater plan. There is a holy symmetry in God's timing. Nothing arrives too early, nothing lingers too long. The same God who paused the sun for Joshua, who delayed Lazarus' resurrection to reveal greater glory, has been orchestrating your timeline with the same precision. He is never late. He is never absent. He is meticulous in his mercy and perfect in his patience. So when you look back at the waiting, don't see wasted time. See preparation. Don't see silence, see strategy. Don't see loss, see layers of divine instruction. Because when heaven says yes, it doesn't come as a surprise. It comes as confirmation that God's clock has just struck fulfilled. Every storm that humbled you was mercy in disguise. Every unanswered prayer was a redirection towards something more divine. And now the season that once confused you will soon make sense in radiant clarity. You will stand in the promise and whisper, "Now I understand." For this is the rhythm of divine timing. You wait until your heart aligns. You surrender until peace replaces panic. And when you finally release control, heaven releases manifestation. It was never denied. It was simply maturing, like fruit waiting to ripen on the branch. And now, as the ripened season approaches, the sweetness of fulfillment will wash away the bitterness of delay. Your faith has ripened, and heaven says, "Now it's time." When heaven begins to move, the natural realm starts to echo it. Before the blessing arrives, signs begin to appear quiet. Confirmations that whisper, "It's close." And if you listen, not just with your ears, but with your spirit, you'll begin to notice that the atmosphere around you feels different. The first sign is divine restlessness, that subtle stirring deep inside your spirit, the feeling that something is shifting, though nothing looks different yet. It's not anxiety. It's anticipation. The same way the earth trembles before rain, your spirit trembles before manifestation. You'll sense a quiet pressure like destiny knocking from the inside. The second sign is sudden separation. People, habits, or environments that no longer resonate will begin to fall away. Don't panic when this happens. It's not rejection, it's refinement. God is clearing your atmosphere so that His yes can land without interference. What was comfortable will start to feel tight because you're outgrowing it. You'll feel an instinct to step forward to release what once felt safe. That's divine pruning, not loss, but preparation for bloom. The third sign is sacred alignment, coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. A message appears at the right time. A door opens after months of silence. Someone speaks words you needed but never asked for. These alignments are heaven's way of saying, "I'm near." What you once chased now starts to chase you. Opportunities return that once slipped through your hands, but this time you're ready. The fourth sign is unexplainable peace. Even in uncertainty, a calm settles within you. The noise of fear grows distant, replaced by quiet assurance. It's the peace that surpasses understanding, the inner knowing that the battle is over, even before you see victory. That peace isn't empty. It's prophetic. It announces heaven has moved. The fifth sign is accelerated clarity. Where confusion once lived, direction suddenly appears. The fog begins to lift. You start to understand why certain things had to happen the way they did. People who once distracted you fade from focus, and your path narrows, not because you're losing options, but because God is sharpening your aim. And then there's the final sign, the echo. It's when everything around you starts repeating the same message in different ways. You see a verse, a phrase, a dream, or a symbol again and again. You hear it in songs, conversations, or even silence. That repetition is not coincidence. It's confirmation. Heaven is echoing the word to make sure you don't miss it. All these signs are the language of divine alignment. They say one thing, the delay is ending, the yes is near. So when these things begin to happen, don't fear the unfamiliar, embrace it. For these are not random waves. They are the gentle currents carrying you toward fulfillment. The wind has changed direction. The rhythm of your days is no longer preparation. It's activation. The waiting room is turning into the birthing room. And soon what was promised in whispers will shout in reality. Yes, it is done. Even when the signs begin to appear, the path may still feel narrow. Right before the promise manifests, resistance often intensifies, not as punishment, but as proof that you're close. Every birth begins with pressure. Every dawn is preceded by darkness. So don't misinterpret the shaking. When the atmosphere starts to shift, turbulence can accompany transformation. Spiritual resistance increases not because you've missed the promise, but because you're nearing it. The closer you get to manifestation, the more the enemy tries to distract, discourage, or detour you. But take heart, the battle around you is evidence of the breakthrough ahead of you. You may notice familiar patterns, reappearing old fears, resurfacing, sudden doubts, whispering relationships being tested, unexpected delays. Right at the moment you thought it was done. These are not coincidences. They are threshold tests, final refinements designed to prove that you've truly learned the lessons of waiting. It's heaven asking, will you trust me even now? Sometimes God allows one last silence before the sound of fulfillment. He allows one last stretch of waiting to expose the last fragments of fear. Because once you step into your yes, the foundation must be unshakable. And so what feels like opposition is often final preparation. Remember, Joseph's promotion came after the prison. David's crown came after the cave. Esther's favor came after fasting and fear. And your manifestation will come after this moment of tension. The pressure you feel is not the end, it's the push before birth. These hidden challenges come in 3 forms. 1. Emotional weariness. You'll feel waves of exhaustion as though your faith is running thin. This is not failure, it's spiritual fatigue from long endurance. When that happens, don't strive, rest. Heaven works while you rest in trust. 2. Sudden doubt. Your mind will question what your spirit already knows. When this happens, return to remembrance. Go back to the words, the confirmations, the peace you felt. Truth doesn't fade, fear only clouds it temporarily. 3. Unexpected stillness. Sometimes everything goes quiet right before breakthrough. It's not absence, it's alignment. The quiet is God rearranging the final pieces unseen by you. So when resistance rises, don't pray for escape, pray for endurance. Declare, I will not fold under pressure. I will finish this process. Because the enemy cannot stop what heaven has decreed. He can only tempt you to stop believing. Understand this deeply. The delay was never about denial, and the challenge is never about punishment. It's all refinement, polishing the vessel, purifying your motives, fortifying your resolve. When the pressure lifts, you'll realize you didn't break, you became unbreakable. So if the fire still burns around, you know that it's not meant to destroy you, it's revealing the gold within you. You are not being tested for failure, you're being proven for fulfillment. The struggle is not a sign you're off path. It's confirmation that you're about to step through the threshold. Hold steady. For after this brief storm, the divine yes will rise like the sun, undeniable, unstoppable, and perfectly timed. Now that the shaking has done its work and the refining fire has made you ready, heaven begins to speak in clarity. The silence that once confused you breaks open into instruction. Because when God says yes, it's never permission to relax, it's a call to align. The door is opening, but how you step through it determines what you'll carry once you're inside. So listen carefully, for these next moments are sacred blueprints. 1. Guard your atmosphere. The yes of heaven can be sensitive. It thrives in purity of focus. Protect your peace as fiercely as you protected your promise. Not everyone can walk with you into this next season. Some were vital in the waiting, but will not fit the winning. Do not cling where God has released. Do not mourn what He has moved. Surround yourself with voices that speak life, faith, and vision. Silence the noise that drains discernment and let stillness become your strategy. 2. Walk in obedience quickly. When divine timing arrives, hesitation can feel like rebellion. There will be nudges, subtle impressions in your spirit prompting you to act. Call, move, apply, create. Do not delay those small acts of obedience. The same God who ordered the waiting will now order your steps, and every prompt carries purpose. Delayed obedience in this season can delay movement again. Move swiftly but not anxiously, like a river that knows where it's going. 3. Speak what you seek. Heaven responds to language of faith. Stop rehearsing delay and start declaring fulfillment. Say it until the atmosphere believes you. It's happening. It's aligning. God has said yes. Your words create pathways for manifestation. When you speak in faith, you authorize heaven to perform. So let gratitude replace complaint. Let praise become prophecy. 4. Sow where you want to grow. The promise you're stepping into will require stewardship. Give of your time, your kindness, your gifts, your resources, not out of pressure, but from prophetic expectation. Seeds sown in obedience become acceleration points in destiny. Every act of generosity echoes back multiplied. As you bless others, you make room for greater blessing to flow through you. 5. Stay hidden in humility. The fulfillment will attract attention, not all of it pure. Guard your heart from pride. Let your elevation become worship, not display. The same humility that sustained you in waiting must anchor you in winning. Because when God promotes you, He's not rewarding ego. He's rewarding endurance. The higher He takes you, the lower you must bow. Remain teachable, gentle, and generous. That's how you keep heaven's favor fresh. 6. Keep your oil burning. Do not stop praying now that the promise is near. Prayer isn't just what brought you here. It's what keeps you aligned once you arrive. Continue communing with God, not for answers, but for intimacy. The wise keep their lamps filled even when the bridegroom delays, because when he suddenly appears, there's no time to borrow oil. Stay lit, stay watchful. 7. Celebrate by faith. Heaven responds to gratitude before evidence. Don't wait for visible proof to give thanks. Celebrate in advance. Dance while the door is still creaking open. Rejoice as if the promise already stands before you, because in the Spirit it does. Faith celebration is prophetic magnetism. It draws fulfillment closer. Every hallelujah before manifestation shortens the distance between prophecy and reality. And finally, 8. Write the vision again. Take the dream that once gathered dust and write it fresh. Your old journals were written in hope. This one will be written in clarity. Revisit what God spoke, but this time write it as if it's happening because it is. You will notice details returning to your memory pieces that now make sense. Record them. Speak them aloud. Prophecy that is written becomes a roadmap for performance. Now lift your eyes. The horizon glows with promise. The instruction has been given not to burden you, but to position you. Because the yes of God is not a finish line. It's an invitation to stewardship. You're not waiting for the promise anymore. The promise is waiting for your readiness. Heaven has said yes. Now let your life say yes in return. Breathe. The striving can rest now. For what God has spoken, He Himself will sustain. You are not stepping into this next season unguarded. Heaven has already gone before you, and its defense surrounds you like light too bright for darkness to enter. There are angels assigned to your name, watchers of promise and keepers of peace. They have walked with you through the waiting, and they will walk beside you through fulfillment. When the door opens, they stand on both sides, shielding you from the glare of envy, the whisper of fear, the shadow of old battles that try to follow you. You may not see them, but you will feel them. In moments when anxiety tries to creep back in, a stillness will rise from nowhere. That calm is not coincidence, it is covering. God Himself becomes the atmosphere around you, invisible, yet impenetrable. Fear not, He says, for I have gone before you. The snare that was laid has already been broken. The word that was spoken against you has been reversed. What was meant for harm has been turned into the foundation of your testimony. You will notice that the spaces which once felt heavy now carry ease. The people who once provoked confusion will lose access. Even your sleep will change, dreams will come clearer, and rest will become revelation. That's what divine protection feels like, peace that guards the unseen places. There will still be noise around you, opinions, doubts, distractions, but none of it can touch the core of what God has sealed. You have become a sanctuary in motion. Everywhere you go, heaven goes too. And remember, this protection isn't just about defense. It's about preservation of purpose. When God shields you, He's not hiding you from destiny. He's hiding you for destiny. He covered Joseph in prison to preserve the dream. He hid Moses in a basket to protect the deliverer. He concealed Jesus in Egypt to safeguard salvation. And He has covered you so the fullness of your yes can emerge untouched by sabotage. So rest. You don't have to fight every rumor or chase every misunderstanding. The truth of your calling will outlive every false word. Your obedience will speak louder than explanation ever could. When fear tries to whisper, remember this promise: I am with you always, even to the end of the age. That means your battles are fought from victory, not for victory. The hedge around you is not fragile. It's forged by divine decree. No storm, no betrayal, no delay can penetrate what God Himself surrounds. So let peace guard your mind like a crown. Let confidence settle in your heart like stone. And as you move forward, walk as one who knows heaven is your armor. You are safe within the yes. The light that guided you through the waiting will now go before you as fire. And the same voice that said wait is now saying go. Covered, protected, and destined to prosper. The waiting has ended. The silence has shifted. The season that once felt like wilderness now bursts with color and clarity. You can feel it, the air itself is lighter. The heaviness that clung to your spirit for so long is gone. The veil has lifted, and the horizon glows with destiny fulfilled. Look around you. The doors that once refused to open now stand wide. The paths that once wound in circles now stretch straight before you. The same ground that once resisted your steps now welcomes your stride. Because when God says yes, even the landscape of your life rearranges to accommodate His word. What once seemed broken now fits with divine precision. The puzzle you could never solve suddenly makes sense, not piece by piece, but all at once. You see it now, how every detour protected you, how every loss positioned you, how every delay defined you. The narrative of your life was never random. It was written by the same hand that flung stars into the sky. And now that author is saying, turn the page. You are walking into a chapter where prayers manifest as reality. The opportunities you longed for find you without effort. The relationships that mirror your healed heart begin to appear. Resources flow where resistance once stood. The struggle wasn't wasted, it was soil. And from that soil, new growth now rises vibrant and undeniable. This is what transformation feels like, not chaos, but calm confidence. Not striving, but flow. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you command with quiet faith. Because you now carry the authority of one who has endured. The promise fulfilled is not just about gain, it's about identity. You have become the promise. The waiting didn't just prepare the blessing for you, it prepared you for the blessing. Now you speak differently, move differently, think differently. You've traded survival for stewardship, fear for discernment, scarcity for abundance. You will notice that people respond to you differently, not because you changed your outer world, but because your inner world finally matches heaven's vibration. Your energy carries evidence. Your peace becomes prophetic. Your presence becomes proof. And the world will see the difference. Where there was weeping, there is wisdom. Where there was confusion, there is clarity. Where there was silence, there is song. You are no longer defined by delay. You are marked by destiny. Every scar now shines as testimony. Every pain now preaches purpose. The very things that broke you have become the bricks upon which your promise stands. This is the beauty of divine fulfillment. It doesn't erase the past. It redeems it. It takes the ashes and fashions crowns. It takes the tears and grows gardens. It takes the lost time and returns it with interest. And now, as you step into this fullness, don't rush past the awe. Pause and look around, not at what was lost, but at what was gained through endurance. You've crossed over. The delay has dissolved. The word has come alive, and heaven's yes now resonates through every cell of your being. You stand now in the flow of answered prayer, and you realize you were never waiting for it. It was waiting for you. The promise delayed was never denied. It was preserved, protected, and perfected. And now, as light floods every shadow of your journey, heaven declares one final truth before the closing blessing. It is done. Now breathe again. Let these words settle deep within you like light, finding its reflection on still water. The waiting, the wilderness, the refining, all of it has led to this moment of peace. The delay was never denial. The answer has always been yes. You have walked through darkness without losing your light. You have waited without bitterness. You have believed when belief cost you everything. And because of that, heaven now calls your name in victory. You are stepping into a chapter written in favor. Everything that once worked against you will now work for you. The winds that opposed you will now carry you. The same ground that broke you will now bless you. And the same silence that once tested you will now speak back the sound of fulfillment. Now take these affirmations and let them live on your tongue. Affirmation 1. I am not forgotten. Every promise written over my life is still alive. Affirmation 2. The delay was preparation, and I am now aligned with divine timing. Affirmation 3. What God has spoken cannot be overturned. His yes is final. Affirmation 4. I walk in peace, in purpose, and in protection. I am covered and called. Say them aloud, not as wishful thinking, but as prophetic agreement. Because when you speak in faith, heaven echoes you. And right now, heaven is echoing yes. So let this word be sealed within you. Let every fear dissolve in the warmth of God's certainty. Let your spirit rest in the truth that you are walking in divine fulfillment, not someday, but now. And as you go forward from this moment, may your steps be steady, your heart light, and your faith unshakable. May doors open before you easily. May grace follow you visibly. May the light of God surround you and the favor of God announce you. No more delay. No more detour. No more doubt. The yes has been spoken. The decree has been sealed. And the promise long delayed, deeply desired, divinely designed, is now released into your reality. So go in peace. Walk in strength. Live in expectation. For the Lord has spoken, and His word over you is eternal. The promise delayed is not denied. I have said yes. Amen.